As someone who's successfully gone from $70,000 in debt to completely financially free in less than a year, I can confidently say that I do know a thing or two about money manifestation and how you can actually call in the cash that you are looking for. So that's why on today's episode of the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, I'm going to be breaking down how you can manifest more money into your life starting today. What's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, the podcast that demystifies all of the nonsense that surrounds manifestation and gives you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, professional, and spiritual growth journey. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation and money mindset expert, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's fucking do this thing. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about my favorite topic, which is money. And I think it's really important that we dive into money manifestation in our lives as much as we possibly can, because let's be honest, the more money that you have, the more you can live your life to the fullest, the more that you get experiences, opportunities, freedom, so on and so forth. And I think that a lot of the resources that are out there traditionally when it comes to money just don't work for most people, and don't work specifically for a lot of women, because the way that a lot of traditional money resources are taught are all about restriction and lack and scarcity, and really putting this fear-based lens on it versus approaching it from the energy of abundance and openness and receivership. And that's what the feminine energy and the feminine essence is all about, which is why I believe a lot of these traditional money resources just really don't work for specifically women, but people in general. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping other women understand and heal their relationships with money, because when you can have that healed relationship with money and you can understand that you can create your own rule book of how money flows in and out of your life, of how you generate wealth, of how money is a part and a presence in your life, then everything gets to change for you financially. And I know personally for me, money has always been something that has interested me. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been so interested in money, but it wasn't until I was introduced to intentional manifestation, and it wasn't until I was introduced to doing the inner work that I was really able to generate wealth in a way that felt good to me and also supported me in the way that I wanted to create it. And what I mean by that is, like, when money can feel good and it can also support you, is that a lot of the times in our society, we are taught that you can either have one or the other. You can either be supported by money or you can do what you want. And a lot of the times we're not given the opportunity to see that those things coexist and absolutely can be tied together, where you can do what you want and you can make a fuck ton of money doing it. You don't have to compromise on your happiness or your desire for what you want to create and do in the world in a financial way. You can have both of those things. And really coming back to this place of what I was saying is, traditionally, we're not taught that. We're taught that you need to compromise for X amount of years of your life in order for you to generate wealth, in order to tick the boxes, in order to be retired and then be able to go on and do things in your life. And I don't know about you, but that's just not it for me. And I don't think it is for especially the people that are here listening to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show. So I know for me, being able to get into the place of working through healing my relationship with money, as well as the limiting beliefs that I had surrounding money, has allowed me to step into this place of getting to do what I want to do and also making a fuck ton of money doing that. And if you believe that you can't have both of these things, if it's a this or that, you can either do what you want or you can make money, then keep listening, because this podcast episode is going to be really powerful to help you identify what's creating that narrative in the first place, as well as some steps that you can take to actually start to manifest more money into your life right here, right now, today, if you implement and integrate what I'm talking about inside of this podcast episode into your life. So today, I'm going to be giving you a little step-by-step process that you can start to use to manifest more money into your life in more aligned and supportive ways, like we're talking about, in the ways that you actually want to receive money. But before we dive into it, I just want to give you some information on the upcoming enrollment period for the Abundant AF Babe Academy, which is my signature online manifestation program that's been specifically designed to help you manifest more money, freedom, fulfillment, and abundance into your life without the hustle and without the grind. So the Abundant AF Babe Academy is, like I said, my signature program. This is my third year running it, and I've now helped over 400 women through this exact same process that I teach inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. We dive into deep subconscious reprogramming to help you eliminate all and any limiting beliefs that you hold, not only about money, but also about yourself, others, the world, relationships, so on and so forth, because it all intertwines and impacts each other. But we also dive into somatic healing inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. We're actually helping you remove any trauma or stagnant energy from the cellular level of your body so that you can become a clear channel for your manifestations. And with this upcoming enrollment period for the Abundant AF Babe Academy, with it being the third year anniversary, I decided I want to mix things up a little bit, bring some new energy, bring some new excitement to the Abundant AF Babe Academy. So we're doing enrollment a little bit differently than we normally do. So for this round of the Abundant AF Babe Academy, there is going to be a week-long early bird pricing where you can get in on the Abundant AF Babe Academy for the lowest possible price that you can get it at. And then once that enrollment period for early bird has ended, then the price will go back up to what it is normally, and we will finish out enrollment at that pricing. But in order to get that early bird pricing, you have to put yourself on the wait list for the Abundant AF Babe Academy. So if you are not already on the wait list, but this is something that you're interested in and you know you want to claim your spot, you know you want to get that early bird pricing, definitely click the link down below in the show notes to put yourself on the wait list. I will be sending out information about how you can claim that early bird spot on the wait list for the Abundant AF Babe Academy. So you will be receiving this through an email versus here on the podcast. And like I said, if you know that you are ready, you are finally ready to heal your relationship with money and create the most aligned, supportive, fulfilling, sustainable life that you possibly can, reach the goals, reach the dreams, reach the desires that you have, and get to the place where it doesn't feel as though it's so far off in the distance and that it's never going to happen, and call those things in and create this reality right here and now, the Abundant AF Babe Academy was made for you. If you want 2024 to be the best and most abundant year of your life, then you will want to join this round of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. So, like I said, put yourself on the wait list. But with that being said, I'm going to give you 5 steps that you can take right here and right now to manifest more money into your life. So, first step is getting clear on what your current relationship is with money and what your current setup is with money. So what do I mean by this? What I mean is that before starting any intentional manifestation journey, and this is where a lot of times people miss out on this step and then have a shaky foundation and end up crashing and burning or losing what they've created. So this step cannot be missed, is getting clear on what your current situation is with money. What is your current relationship to money? What are your current money beliefs? What do your current financial habits look like? And what are all of those things creating for you in your life right now? Because if your finances do not look the way that you want them to, that is a byproduct of your belief system and your actions. And this isn't a call out to be like, you're doing things bad or wrong or any of that. This is more so just to bring your awareness to the fact that if your finances do not look the way that you want them to, that's actually awesome, because that means that you have room to grow. That means that there's something you can change. A lot of the times when we're not where we want to be, or we are in a tricky situation, it's easy to fall into the victim mentality and believe that you've already done everything. There's nothing else that you can do, that things just aren't going your way, that you're never going to get to where you want to be. And the truth and the reality is if you are not where you want to be, that means that there is always something that you can do to get yourself there. So see this as an empowering opportunity to, like I said, really get clear on what is that current relationship with money. If money was a person, how would you describe that relationship? Would it be toxic? Would it be avoidant? Would it be dismissive? Would it be loving and then hating? Would it be manipulative? What would it be? Look at it in that kind of way, that kind of term of, if money was a person, how would you describe your role first and foremost in that relationship, but then also how you feel about that person and about that relationship? This is one of the most powerful things that I've done for myself when looking at basically anything, but especially my relationship to money, is if I was in a relationship with money, would money want to hang out with me based off of how I talk about it, how I feel about it, and how I treat it, what my behaviors are with it, and really just my general energy and embodiment around money. And getting clear on that then helps you with this understanding of like, oh, okay, no, things do need to shift. I talk shit about money all the time, or I'm constantly using money and expecting it to come back to me, even though I'm not showing up and supporting it in the way that it's supporting me. Or I'm fearful of money and I avoid it. I hide from it. I use it, but then I avoid it. Or I hold on so tightly to money because I'm so scared of anybody taking it away from me, and therefore it feels restricted and can't breathe. Think about it in that kind of way. Allow yourself to see what is your setup, what is your dynamic with money, what are the habits, the behaviors, the actions, the thoughts that have put you into the financial situation that you're in, because we cannot change what we are not willing to recognize. This is one of the biggest things that I share with the women that I work with. We cannot change what we are not willing to recognize and what we don't recognize. So allowing yourself to slow down and recognize what is going on, why it's happening in the first place. Because if you don't do that, you've probably heard me use this analogy before, but I think it's a good one and it really explains the picture. It's kind of like you have a pile of shit. And if you leave that pile of shit there and you don't clean it up, then it's going to start to stink even more. And you're going to start to attract bugs and nasty things that want to come in and surround itself around that shit. And it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. And a lot of the times what people do is they recognize that there's a pile of shit, but they want the pretty thing. They want the fun thing. They want the sparkly thing. So they put that in front of the pile of shit, hoping that it will just go away. But again, it will start to stink, and that pretty shiny thing won't have the beauty and the shimmer that you want it to if you haven't cleaned up what is already there. So clean up what is there. Work on healing your belief system around money, your trauma around money, the past experiences, the things that need forgiveness, the heaviness that you've held on to surrounding money, and clear that out so that you can set a new standard and a new dynamic in the way that you're choosing to show up in your relationship to money. So that is your first step, is getting clear on your current relationship to money and starting to clear it up so that there is space for something else. Your second step is to set an intention that is not so far out of your realm of believability, but would be a stretch. So what do I mean by this? What I mean is that when you are new to the world of money manifestation, while it would be incredible to set that intention for $1 million, and you can set that intention for $1 million, it's actually more beneficial for you to set the intention for something that's a bit of a stretch, but still a little bit believable. And the reason for this being is that, let's say you've never made more than $2,000 a month, and you are setting the intention that you want to manifest a six-figure salary every single month. You want to manifest $100,000 every single month. What happens when you do this is, one, your subconscious mind can't even start to comprehend what that money looks like because your current income hasn't hit that level of money yet. So there's no way to actually grasp onto, okay, this is what it would feel like to be making $100,000 a month. In addition to this, it creates a lack of safety inside of your body and inside of your subconscious mind because there's no way to prove that that is something that is safe for you. So a lot of the times when people are manifesting, they feel as though they should set the intention for something so different from what they've experienced in their lives, because if they don't do that and they end up manifesting something else, or they don't end up manifesting that, then they feel as though they've like quote unquote wasted their shot at manifesting that thing. When in reality, what I like to teach to my clients is something that I call the ladder of believability. You want to take incremental steps towards manifesting whatever the end result is. So if you're wanting to manifest millions of dollars, if you're wanting to manifest that six-figure monthly income, what you would want to do instead is have that as the end result, have that as the overarching goal, but break it up into bite-sized pieces underneath that. So again, taking it back to the example of if you've never made more than $2,000 a month, what I would suggest is that you up that to what you feel comfortable with. So perhaps that's $5,000 a month. That's over double what you're making right now. It feels like a stretch, but it also doesn't feel completely unrealistic to your subconscious mind. So therefore, you're able to better wrap your head, your belief system, and your energy around that so that you can align your vibration with being a 5K monthly earner. And then as you are climbing that ladder of believability, as you're starting to manifest more money into your life, then you start to up that, and you up from $5,000 to $10,000, and then $10,000 to $15,000, and then $15,000 to $30,000, and then $30,000 to $50,000, so on and so forth, until you get to the place where you are comfortable at each level of that ladder of believability, and you're comfortable and you're integrating in the lessons at each level of your life and at each level of your finances. Because one of the biggest things that a lot of people miss out on when they are wanting to go from like absolute rock bottom to cloud nine is that each level has so many different lessons for you. And if you don't fully integrate those lessons into your life, then what you would be reaching on cloud nine is not going to be sustainable. You must take these incremental steps to gather the skill set and the belief system and the embodiment that allows you to carry on with this long-lasting, sustainable wealth in your life. And at least that's my approach. I don't want to say you have to do it that way, but that's what I've seen in my life to be the most effective. And I've seen so many people who haven't taken this approach where they've been going from the position of, again, making $2,000 or less a month to then making six figures a month, and then completely losing that and stepping away from it and moving away from even wanting to have money in their life because they didn't integrate the steps in between where they were when they first started and what was necessary to sustain that level of wealth. So climbing the ladder of believability, seeing this as a long-term game as opposed to something that you need to achieve within a short period of time. Because while yes, it is possible to integrate all of the lessons and learnings and wisdoms and embodiments that are necessary in order to sustain the wealth that you desire, it's also not a sprint. I see this as a marathon. This is something that if you want to be wealthy for the rest of your life, what's the harm in taking your time to fully integrate in all of the necessary lessons that will help you do that? So creating the ladder of believability, starting from wherever you're at, whether that be a couple $100 a month to a couple $100,000 a month, climbing the ladder of believability, allowing yourself to take those steps, see within yourself what feels like it would be a stretch, but it also doesn't feel completely unrealistic, because that's going to be the sweet spot for you to be able to upgrade your wealth frequency in alignment with calling in that next level of wealth. So that is step 2. Step 3 is identifying who you would be as the version of yourself who's already manifested that level of wealth. So if you listen to the podcast, you've heard me talk about this so many times in so many different ways. But what I mean when I say this is you want to become the embodiment of the version of yourself who already has the money that you desire. So when we talk about embodiment, basically what we are talking about is becoming the version of yourself who has that kind of money. How does that version of yourself walk? How does she talk? How does she think? What beliefs does she have about herself and about money? How does she carry herself in the world? How does she dress? What kind of relationships does she have? What does she do for work? What is her general outlook and belief system on life? How does she feel on a day-to-day basis? What habits and behaviors does she embody on a day-to-day basis that set her up for success? Those are the things that you want to identify and then slowly but surely start to integrate and implement into your life. So again, taking it back to our example of somebody who's making $2,000 or less a month, you probably know what that feels like if that's your experience, because that's what you're doing on a day-to-day. That's what your current life, belief, whatnot has set you up for. So thinking about that version of yourself who's making $5,000 a month or that's making $10,000 a month, how different would she be? What do you think would be different about that version of yourself? How would her levels of confidence be? How would she talk about money? How would she treat money? What would she have let go of? Start to identify those things and start to embody them as often as you possibly can. This is if you've listened to or read about traditional manifestation resources, oftentimes what people call acting as if. I don't like to see it as acting, because the journey of becoming a wealthier version of yourself is not about acting and hoping that through that acting you get to the place that you want to be. It's about becoming. It's about being that version of yourself, because through being that version of yourself and again integrating in all of the lessons that are necessary to be that version of yourself, then that becomes your new baseline. And if that becomes your new baseline, that becomes your new standard. And if that becomes your new standard, that becomes your vibration. And if that becomes your vibration, then that's what you naturally manifest. So instead of acting and hoping that that is what you're going to create, be that, because that becomes your vibration, and that is what attracts and manifests all of this wealth and all of this abundance into your life. So embody that wealthy version of yourself. Know who that wealthy version of yourself is. Become her. Take the steps. And this is exactly what I teach inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. If you're listening to this and you're like, yes, that is what I want. That is what I need. That is what I want to start to do and become. That is what I teach you inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy. So get yourself on the wait list. But with that being said, your 4th step is taking aligned and inspired action. And again, if you are not new to the world of manifestation, you've probably heard a ton about this. So I'm not going to go super, super deep into this one because this is explained everywhere. But this is so important because when it comes to money manifestation, while yes, you can absolutely attract opportunities for money into your life without doing anything, I believe that all of us have a purpose, all of us have desires, all of us have things that we want to share with the world. And I believe that we deserve to be highly compensated for those things. So whatever it may be that you feel connected to, whether it be a message or a product or a service or a job or a career path that has been calling to you, listen to what inspired and aligned action your intuition is trying to guide you towards within those things. Because that is one of the most surefire ways you can guarantee that you will have a consistent stream of overflow coming into your life. And when I say overflow, I mean more than enough. More than enough money, more than enough abundance, more than enough opportunity in your life to create the wealth that you desire. So listen to your intuition within that. And if you have any questions about intuition, I just released a podcast episode last week about intuition, so you can go back and listen to that one. But this is huge. Taking aligned and inspired action is like you meeting the universe halfway within your manifestations. If you want to receive your manifestations with speed and with the abundance and the force that you desire, take inspired action to meet the universe halfway. And then your fifth and final step is staying committed to this embodiment and being open to receiving. This is so important, and this is why most people don't manifest the life of their dreams. Most people do not manifest the life of their dreams. Most people do not manifest the wealth that they desire. Most people do not sit on fat stacks of Benjamins because they do not stay committed to this process. The only way you don't get what you want out of life or something greater is by giving up, is by choosing to stop right before there could have been a breakthrough. I was actually on a walk with one of my best friends yesterday in Central Park, and we were having a conversation about how oftentimes people don't know they're about to strike gold. They've been digging and digging and digging. They don't know they're about to strike gold, and they choose to stop and walk away when they're inches away from hitting the gold and experiencing more abundance than they could have ever imagined. Don't be the person who walks away from the gold. Don't be the person who stops digging, who stops embodying, who stops believing just because it's not showing up within the timeline that you think it's supposed to for your life, or just because it feels like it's taking more energy or effort than it should. We're all starting from different places in our lives. We're all starting from different blueprints and backgrounds. So what may take a shorter time for Sally down the road may not be your same path. You may have another few months or a year on top of what it seemed like she had to go through in order to get to that place. But who cares about Sally's timeline? Stay in your lane. Stay in your experience. Stay in your embodiment and your commitment to yourself, because that is how you strike gold in your own life. That is how you create your own abundance, and you allow yourself to fully actualize your manifestations in the way that your soul intended to when it came into your human body. Stay committed to this process. And girl, I know it's easier said than done, but that's why it's so important to have people in your corner that are on the same journey, who get it, who know how to help support you navigate all of the wild and turbulent and beautiful and exciting and abundant seasons that come through it, because it can be really challenging to try and figure this all out on your own. I know I've shared it with you guys so many times, but I just want you to know that I've never done this on my own. I've always had somebody in my corner. I've always had people supporting me. I've always worked with coaches and mentors and healers to help me continue to get to the next level. And I truly know that I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the guidance and support that I've received along the way, along this journey. So with that being said, that is your 5-step process to manifest more money into your life starting today. So just to recap that, first one is getting clear on what your current relationship to money is and starting to clean that shit up. Second is setting an intention that is not so far out of your realm of believability, but is just enough for you to stretch yourself and allow the universe to meet you halfway within it. Third is identifying who you would be as the version of yourself who has already manifested the level of wealth that you desire for yourself. Fourth is taking that aligned and inspired action so that you can have that consistent stream of overflow showing up in your life. And 5 is staying committed to this embodiment and staying open to receiving. Staying in it, because the only way you will not receive what you want or something greater is if you choose to stop or if you give up. So don't give up. Keep going. Keep believing yourself. Keep taking the steps forward, because that's how you become the happiest, healthiest, and wealthiest version of yourself. And like I've said a few times in this podcast episode, if you know you are ready for this journey, if you know that you want the support, you want to learn how to integrate it all in, you want a community of other people who are doing it alongside you, and want somebody who can personally help you every single step of the way, then put yourself on the wait list for the Abundant AF Babe Academy. Enrollment is going to be opening for early bird pricing next week on Wednesday. But in order to get that early bird pricing, you have to put yourself on the wait list. So put yourself on the wait list. And with that being said, I'm sending you all of my love, and I will chat with you on the next podcast episode.